where's Waldo? Maybe you can find me and find the voice in the midst of all this gorgeousness and color and blooms. And we definitely had a blowout Easter worship service this morning. It is now approximately 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the story continues, because what we want to think, and what I'm going to encourage you and challenge you to think, is that Easter isn't just a worship service. It's not just a one-time explosion of color. It's not just one Sunday a year. But Easter is this tide, this wave, if you will, of bringing about a new heaven here on earth. A new earth, a new heaven. What does it mean for love truly to conquer death? What does it truly mean to hold the grief and the fear and the angst all wrapped up in an understanding of loving our neighbor as ourselves? And so we move out into Eastertide, 6 weeks, where I'm going to dare you to dance again. After 2 years of a pandemic where we wonder if things will ever get back to normal, what we know is no, they will not. And we are creating the new normal, that hope for creating a new world, a new life, a new heaven. Guess what? That's what we're doing now. We are creating a new normal. And for the 6 weeks leading up to this Sunday, we attempted to ask, what is enough? How do we know enough? How do we know an imperfect life? How do we know a satisfaction within a structure, within a power structure that wants to commoditize all of us, that says we have to climb this ladder that is never ending, attempting to attain success, which is really never something that we can attain. We just work harder for it and forget that right now, this moment, we are living into the midst of our very being. And so this is the message that we will take forward with us as we enter into the next 6 weeks of worship, liturgically known as the Great 50 Days. The Great 50 Days of Easter, where Jesus was among the people here and there, reminding them to continually look for the incarnation of Christ in all the faces that you see. In all the faces that you see, look for the incarnation of Christ. And that is the message that we attempted to offer this morning, to imagine Jesus as a gardener, planting our seeds and our bulbs into a soil, knowing that for that perfect seed, that perfect bulb, to create these vivacious blooms, it literally has to crack open. It literally has to give up itself into an imperfection to actually create these amazing blooms. And so that's our story. And we're going to start out of the gate with a really hard Sunday. And I implore you to consider joining us for worship this next Sunday as we dare to dance with dreamers who believe and want and are dancing again. This will be Break the Silence Sunday. We offered our first Break the Silence Sunday last year, the last Sunday in April, through the National Church, the UCC Church. We have been suggested to follow a resolution that actually says we need to break that silence. This silence that says I can violate your body and I will silence you by my power and control over you, literally, physically, mentally, emotionally, I will silence you. And so this next Sunday, our call is to literally break that silence, to dare to walk, to dance with these dreamers of healing, these dreamers of a life full and strong, these dreamers who know that they are survivors and that tomorrow is their day. Today is their day. A few other announcements for the good of the community, and I'm literally reading off our worship guide from today. We have a congregational meeting, which is in our bylaws twice a year, and this year it will be on May the 15th, I believe. May the 15th. If you have particular questions or comments, I implore you to please send those in. Essentially, this meeting will be updates about our ministry health and our financial health. So if you want to know what's going on and you don't want to get it from a video or a email, please show up. It will probably be both on Zoom and live in person. This week, I will be working remotely, so there will not be office hours. Know that I've been attempting to hold office hours on Tuesdays from 2 to 6, which means that this space is open. I'm here in some capacity, either in this space or at my office or sitting outside in the pavilion. Maybe even working in the beds, trimming or moving mulch or weeding. And so Tuesdays from 2 to 6 has been a time that we have held consistent for a bit to have pop-in-able office hours. Also on Thursdays, some weeks, most weeks, I am also here probably from 3 to 6 or 6:30. We are hosting the High Country Food Hub. It's Zionville Vilas satellite delivery point or pickup point. And so often myself, possibly Becca might be here or Robin might be here. And so this space is also open. And I say that because sometimes we need a space just to go and be quiet and to sit in a space that we know and we can feel the Holy Spirit without having to work at it. And so that might be a time for you to come in here and meditate on one of these words, to read these words, and know that there is a community that you are a part of, that you belong to, and that seeks to be in relationship and community with you. A celebration that occurred today in worship, beyond that it was just a delightful worship, and I encourage you to click the button and to watch it if you weren't able to be here this morning, is we hosted a group of youth from Lexington, Massachusetts, from Hancock United Church of Christ, Hancock UCC, which is one of our very historical churches within the United Church of Christ. They chose to worship with us this morning. They just arrived yesterday after a long road trip from Massachusetts to be at Johns River Valley Camp this week, doing work camp and ministry out of there. And so we had the grand privilege to have 15 youth and their 5 adult sponsors worship with us this day. So it definitely filled our space, and their presence, their holiness, their image of God, their spirituality definitely emboldened our own spirits here. So know that you were celebrated. Thank you, Hancock UCC, for joining us in worship this day. Until next week, see you later.